Before sleeping bags existed, men slept in -40 degrees and lived. Here's how: the moment most people would panic is the moment they already lost. That's the brutal truth about surviving a winter in the northern Rockies. By the time danger announces itself, you're already behind. Temperatures drop to -40 degrees Fahrenheit. The sun doesn't set. It dies. And out in that frozen wilderness, with nothing but what you can carry on your back, the difference between a man who walks out in the morning and a man who doesn't comes down to one thing: a system. Not luck. Not bravery. A system built from knowledge so hard-earned it took generations to perfect. This is that system. And once you understand it, you'll never look at winter the same way again. When the light starts fading behind the ridgeline, the clock is already running. 90 minutes. That's the window. 90 minutes before darkness locks in and temperature goes into free fall. At -40, a human body stops being a person making decisions and becomes an organic engine leaking heat in every direction, through skin, through fabric, through the frozen ground underfoot. Physics has no mercy and no exceptions. The only question that matters in those 90 minutes is whether you can stop the leak before the leak stops you. So you move. Fast, but never frantic. Because panic burns calories and panic produces sweat, and sweat, out here, is a problem we'll come back to. The first thing, the most important thing, the decision that determines everything that follows, is where you stop. Not when, not how. Where? Survival science calls it site selection, and getting it wrong means no amount of skill or gear saves you afterward. You're reading the terrain the way a surgeon reads a body: north-facing slope or south, timber density, wind angle, the precise geometry of the hillside. You're not looking for comfort. You're looking for physics in your favor. A natural depression in the hill. Dense timber at your back. A slope angle that breaks the wind. When you find it, the pack comes off, hits the ground, and that sound is the starting gun. Now here's the part that surprises almost everyone, the counterintuitive truth that separated the men who survived their first winter from the men who didn't. The ground beneath you is trying to kill you. Not the wind. Not the air. The earth itself. The moment you stop moving and lie down, the ground begins pulling thermal energy directly out of your body silently, continuously, without limit. It is a heat sink of almost infinite capacity, and most people never see it coming because they're busy worrying about what's above them instead of what's below. The answer is dead air. You layer the ground with pine boughs, dry leaves, inner bark of fallen timber, each layer placed deliberately to trap pockets of motionless air between surfaces. Dead air doesn't conduct heat. It doesn't carry it away. It simply holds. What you're building isn't a bed. It's a thermal barrier between your body and the planet, assembled entirely from what the forest floor provides, and it weighs nothing. It takes 20 minutes to build properly. It is the most important 20 minutes of the entire night. Because without it, nothing else you do will be enough. While you're building, working steadily in the cold, something dangerous begins happening beneath your outer layers. You're sweating. In almost any other situation, that's an inconvenience. Out here, it's a slow catastrophe with a 2-hour fuse. Moisture destroys insulation completely. A dry layer of animal hide traps dead air against your skin and holds your warmth. A wet layer conducts that warmth directly away from your body at precisely the moment you can afford to lose at least. A man who soaks his base layers and then stops moving has wrapped himself in a refrigeration system. He won't feel it for another couple of hours. By then, it's too late to fix. This is where the knowledge that indigenous peoples spent centuries developing becomes not just relevant but decisive. They understood the paradox entirely: you must work hard enough to survive the night, but working too hard will kill you just as surely as doing nothing. There is a specific pace, a controlled exertion, at which the body generates enough heat to function without producing enough sweat to become dangerous. You vent your outer layer. You slow down by exactly the right amount. You keep moving because stopping is not yet an option. And you carry that discipline into every task that follows. Darkness arrives. The temperature begins dropping by physics now, and physics has no floor tonight. You build your fire, and you build it small. Deliberately small. Because a large fire is a trap, it creates warmth at a distance while doing nothing for the three sides of you exposed to the dark. This fire serves one specific, narrow purpose. It is not a heat source. It is a reflector. A lean-to built low and tight, angled precisely, throws the fire's energy forward into your space. You are not heating the wilderness. You are heating a pocket of geometry you designed around your own body. That is the difference between freezing and surviving. Then the buffalo robe comes out, and everything shifts. This is not a blanket. A blanket keeps you warm. The robe creates a microclimate, layers of dense underfur and guard hairs trapping dead air against the body and sealing it there. When it wraps around you, for the first time all night, you are generating more heat than you are losing. The system has closed. You eat rendered fat and dried meat, not for pleasure, not for comfort, but for fuel. Dense in calories, slow-burning metabolic heat that works from the inside while the robe works from the outside. Together, they are the engine. And the engine is running. But the night saves its worst for last. Around 4 in the morning, the human body's core temperature hits its natural low point in the sleep cycle. The pre-dawn dip. In ordinary life, you sleep right through it. Out here, in minus 40 degrees, this is the hour that has killed men who built smart, ate right, managed their moisture perfectly, and still ran out of margin in the final stretch. You wake, not from an alarm, but from instinct refined by everything you've been taught. You feed the fire. Not too much. Enough. You pull the robe tighter. And you wait. Slowly, so slowly it feels like the world reconsidering, the darkness begins to thin. Temperature stops falling. Your body, by the thinnest possible margin, has held.